What if betrayal wasn't a curse, but a calling? What if the deepest pain you've experienced, the hurtful words, the abandonment, the betrayal, wasn't just random cruelty, but life's way of waking you up to your hidden potential? Carl Jung, one of the most influential figures in psychology, would say, yes, and not only that, he believed it was through these very wounds that you are given the power to transform into something unimaginable. At the core of Jung's philosophy lies the shadow self, a term that represents the parts of ourselves we hide, reject, or deny. It's everything you've buried, your anger, fear, pride, ambition, and even your greatness. The shadow isn't just dark, it's simply unacknowledged. And here's where betrayal becomes interesting. When someone hurts you, when they lash out, betray, or demean you, they're not just revealing their own shadow. According to Jungian theory, they're awakening yours. Think back to someone who wronged you deeply. The betrayal may have felt like it shattered your soul. But in that very moment, they expose something crucial, not just about them, but about you. Your unspoken insecurities, your buried rage, your suppressed desire to rise above it all. Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." You might ask, why is that important? Because if you understand yourself completely, shadow and all, you become dangerous in the best way possible. The people who hurt you projected their shame onto you. They couldn't accept themselves, so they made you carry their weakness. They tried to make you small so they could feel big. But what they never realized is this: every attack was their own reflection. Every word meant to break you only exposed the fractures in their own identity. You were the mirror, and they couldn't handle the truth staring back. Now here's the Jungian twist that changes everything. Your pain is not a punishment, it's an initiation. When you suffer betrayal, your psyche isn't just wounded, it's preparing. Every sleepless night, every silent cry, every scream you swallowed was a forging process. You were being carved into a weapon, not for revenge in the conventional sense, but for revelation. You weren't just meant to survive betrayal. You were meant to use it. Jung also said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." That fear, it's the door. That wound, it's the key. You've spent too long trying to get back to the old version of yourself, the one before the pain. But that version is gone. And that's good. Because the version that's emerging is something your enemies never imagined. They saw a caterpillar and judged its crawling. They never waited long enough to witness the wings. And now, you've gone silent. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. While they gossip and scheme, you reflect. While they cling to judgment, you embrace evolution. Jung wrote, "Everything you fight weakens you. Everything you're in harmony with strengthens you." Your silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. While they spiral in chaos, you ascend in calm. While they seek validation, you seek vision. And that terrifies them. They can feel the shift. They don't understand it. You've become unrecognizable. Your presence carries peace, not because your life is easy, but because you've walked through hell and didn't ask for water. You integrated your pain instead of projecting it. And that, Carl Jung would say, is the essence of individuation, the becoming of your true, whole self. The best revenge, it isn't destruction, it's elevation. Here's what they never saw coming. You didn't just move on. You transformed, quietly, strategically. While they stayed stuck in the drama of their own making, you were building something stronger than retaliation, identity, something more powerful than payback, purpose. Carl Jung believed that the true privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. He called this process individuation, a journey that forces you to confront your deepest fears, integrate your darkest sides, and emerge whole, For most people, this never happens. They get caught in the loop of blame, bitterness, and avoidance. But not you. You chose reflection over reaction. While your enemies weaponized judgment, you turned to thought, and thought, deep, difficult, soul-searing thought, is rare. Jung once said, "Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. But judgment is easy. It feels good for a moment. It protects the ego. That's what they did to you. They needed you to be the villain of their story so they could keep playing the victim in their own. They mistook your growth for arrogance, your silence for guilt, your evolution for betrayal. But here's the truth. They were never betrayed by you. They were betrayed by their own expectations. Their actions may have made sense to them. But as Jung pointed out, the mind doesn't swing between right and wrong. It swings between sense and nonsense. And your very existence now, calm, successful, composed, makes no sense to them. Why? Because they expected you to fold, but you did the unthinkable. You rose. You chose the path of healing, of power, of becoming. You didn't let their narrative define your future. You rewrote it entirely. Jung said, "Who has a why to live can bear almost any how." They tried to crush your how, your confidence, your voice, your method, but they never touched your why. That fire deep in your soul, that unrelenting sense of purpose. It survived everything they threw at you. And now, that purpose is your engine. You're not what happened to you. You're what you chose to become. And what you've become, they can't comprehend it. You've stepped so far outside their limited perception that you've become something mythical. They tried to write your ending, but all they wrote was the prologue. While they're still stuck in chapter 1, you've written 17 chapters ahead. You've crafted plot twists they never saw coming. And now, your very presence is a reminder of their failure. Not because you seek revenge, but because you no longer need it. That's the most terrifying truth for someone who tried to destroy you. You don't care. You don't hate them. You don't need closure. You've transcended the whole equation. They are not your enemy. They are your teacher. And in teaching you what you never want to become, they gave you direction. In trying to break you, they gave you strength. In projecting their shadow, they forced you to meet your own and integrate it. Jung believed that to confront and integrate your shadow is to become whole. But you went one step further. You weaponized it. You turned your pain into power, your scars into strategy, your silence into strength. You are no longer the person they tried to hurt. That person is gone. In their place stands a legend, quiet, composed, evolved. And legends don't explain themselves. They don't justify their journey. They just become. So let them wonder. Let them spiral. Let them try to make sense of how the person they tried to bury bloomed into something unbreakable. Let them try to decipher your calm, your clarity, your power. Because the truth is, the best revenge isn't showing them what they did wrong. The best revenge is becoming someone so powerful, so peaceful, and so whole, that their chaos has no place in your story anymore. As Carl Jung would say, you've become what you were always meant to be.